What's going on, people? Pokemon Masters Council podcast, episode 46.
46.
Justin's at my house for the first time in like 6 months. What's up,
We
Justin?
finally didn't have a blizzard.
Finally.
I woke up this morning and I
snowed
thought
this
it
morning.
was. I thought it was
snowed
again.
this morning. It snowed this morning and
Then
now
it cleared up. It's still super cold out.
And when you showed up to my house, I was doing yard work.
You're doing yard
It's
work.
literal 180. That's
180.
what we dealt with today.
Yeah, today's a tournament episode of the pod. We're going to be talking about, where was this at?
Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte tournament today on the pod for the main topic. But as usual, before we get into that, we want to, touch base with everybody, see how everybody's going. How's it going with everybody? How you doing? We're going to talk about some news, fun stuff like that. And we'll take a little coffee break and we'll come back and we'll cover the Charlotte. And Joe UX9, we're a big fan of him on this channel.
Absolutely.
He was in the finals, so spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
We'll show you all that it's about. But before we get into everything, we just, obviously, as usual, Zero. We're on that big climb up to 1,000 subscribers. Big
1,000.
shout out. Big thank you. We are thankful. Big thank you
Yes.
to all of you out there.
We are thanks for
We are
you.
thanks for yous all.
1,000 subscribe.
When you're on, if you're on YouTube, definitely click that like on this video. Click the big subscribe button. Hit the bell button to stay notified every time we put up a new podcast and or video onto the channel. Big shout out from Ollie Bolt upstairs.
Yeah, my family's about to walk through the door, so you're going to hear him popping off.
And obviously, if you're listening to us on Spotify, give us that big 5-star dives. 5-star rating on Spotify. We really appreciate it. Zero. What's been going on with host hobbies?
So, for host hobbies, I'll start. Mine's kind of short.
Mine too, actually.
Yeah,
So the past 2 weeks since last podcast, what did we talk about?
2 weeks.
Ruins?
Ruins. We talked about ruins.
Our schedule's been a bit wonky in this summer, or this spring.
Yeah.
Just kids and work and disease and...
Oh, yeah, disease.
People got sick, and then the weather, but
Yeah.
we're starting to get back on track. Last time we did talk about the ruined Pokemon coming in for Regulation C. So for host hobbies in the past 2 weeks, didn't you have a disc golf tournament? Or you've been prepping for one, right?
I've been prepping. I had 2 disc golf tournaments in March. I ended up missing both of them one time. Mm-hmm. I got the big C, so I had to back out. And then the other one, I kind of backed out of that because I invested in a different tournament that was going to have a higher, there's a higher upside to the tournament, and it was way less, overall money. So I backed out of that one, and I'm glad I did because the weather was terrible for both. So right now I'm just prepping for the season. My first tournament's going to be in April. So I'm just getting out there, getting back in disc golf shape, which is, trust me, it's actually a thing. When you
I've got a tournament in April also.
sitting on the couch, you've been sick, you get stitches, you get COVID.
Playing Pokemon.
It's, your disc golf kind of game, you got to work at it again. So that's what I've been doing.
Got to get out the practice basket in the backyard.
Oh, by the way, just want to plug it right here. If you love disc golf, you're trying to get some disc golf accessories, go to discbaron.com. Use the code 71353 at checkout for a few dollars off of your order.
What's that code?
It is 71353, and you can get that at discbaron.com if you want.
That's that
disc golf.
special PMC discount code.
Yes.
So, other than that, what else has been going on the past 2 weeks?
Well, that's pretty much it for me.
For hobby stuff. We do have some news, but we'll cover that.
Yeah. There's some. But you, what have you been up to? Man? You got something kind of cool that's developed.
Oh yeah. So we had a class, sort of. It was a very miniature. There's only a couple people there, but there's some new people locally in the hobby for the Warhammer store. Mm-hmm. They're actually playing the Star Wars game. It's called Star Wars Legion.
And it's like Warhammer? Yep. Oh, that's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. There's, how much I love Star Wars.
Yes.
You could probably guess as to the reason why I don't play Star Wars Legion. I don't have self-control. I would own everything.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Literally, that's what it is. It's me and there's 3 of us in the AOS community that are tempted by either the Lord of the Rings game or the Star Wars game.
Oh, dude.
And then there's also a Marvel game. Oh my god. So you see what I mean? I can't, it's just, we've talked about why we don't do the Pokemon trading card game on this channel as a regular staple because it's too expensive. It's the same thing with these games.
You know,
it's just
funny.
Too expensive.
I'm having that like struggle and realization and like that maturity in disc golf now, because like my favorite driver, it came out in like this new plastic that's like, I love it.
I don't need it.
But I didn't buy
I
it.
definitely don't need it.
It's like the greatest plastic blend ever made. It's so nice, but I really don't.
Looking back at the 300 discs back here.
Because, okay. So
I need it!
So, the disc is called the Trespass, okay?
Trespass. Ooh.
Yes.
Is this Baron?
No, it's dynamic discs.
Oh, dynamic discs.
So, these all right here. The disc is called the Trespass. I've got 3 of them in my bag right now. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So 13.
I own 13 Trespasses.
And they just came out with a brand new one. It's like the iPhone 15. You're like,
I don't need it. I just got a new Trespass.
But it's really good.
But like I'm having that like mature like realization, like you don't need the Trespass as much as I want.
What you should do is you should podium in the, like, I don't know if you guys have like a first, second, third place the way we do, but like a podium. So come in the top cut, like top 8 for Pokemon tournaments. That's a podium, right?
Yeah.
Or top 3, I guess technically.
Yeah.
But if you podium at one of these tournaments in April, then you'll have a reason to be like,
then I'm buying.
Then you can reward yourself.
You know what? Like I get a discount at Disc Baron because I'm sponsored.
Yeah.
I still haven't bought one because I'm just
responsible.
I don't need it, but I want it so bad. All right, I'm gonna put these away.
Oh, you're good.
Keep talking, buddy.
No, so we had a hobby day earlier this week over at the store where we had a couple of new people at the Star Wars Legion, and they were coming in specifically to learn for the basing of the miniatures. So, like, people that maybe don't know, it's like little plastic toy soldier miniatures, and they're on little round or oval bases, and you measure from the base, you don't measure from the model. So, you know, if you have like a dude with like a bow and arrow that shoots like 18 inches, you measure from the base of the little round circle that he's standing on, right? Okay. Pretty simple. So, but from the hobby perspective of the game, there's a saying in terms of like, because I love the hobby side as well as the gaming side. I love like the art side of it too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try hard in all aspects of this hobby. And there's like a phrase or saying that we say. It's like what someone told me when I was beginning of like, when I asked like, hey, how do I get better? How do I make my army, not just one model, but like my whole army look good from like when you bring the full 2,000 points? It was faces, bases, banners, so like flags, and shields. Faces, bases, banners, and shields.
Okay.
If you put a little bit of extra work into those 4 categories, it won't matter that you went a little bit, like you skimped out on painting those extra details on the underneath side of his armpit. Nobody's going to notice that.
I like that. That's cool.
But if the face put extra time and effort into, the banner, the big flag in the unit, like, you know, like old school, like Game of Thrones, right? Like they have a big banner that's like from their house or whatever. With put extra work into that. The base of the model, and then obviously the shields, if anybody has any shields.
Yeah, because shields are covering half of a model, right?
Yeah, exactly, or big weapons, basically, if they don't have a shield.
Yeah. Spend
time there, and that will help your whole army look almost like optical illusion better than it actually is, so to speak. That's where you put, regardless of what hobby level you're at, from 1 to 100, that's sort of one of those tips, universal tips, where like you put a little bit extra effort into those areas, and it'll pay dividends.
I love those little tricks of the trade and these like nuance things, because I'm gonna bring it back to disc golf. We've got a phrase called "drive for show, putt for dough." So,
yeah.
I mean, golf has that too.
It means you literally you're haul ass and trying to get that thing down close to the basket, and then once you do, the putting is how you make your money.
Because you know how many
told
people
me practicing your putting is what. Yep,
that's what like set me, because you know how many people can get within 30 feet of a basket.
That's like the difference. That's the difference between like all 6 of my Pokemon are 252, 252, 4.
Right,
and then the difference between jumping into the next bracket where it's like, yeah, I've got 1 or 2. Maybe my Bullshifu's 252, 222. But then my other spreads have 46 and 31 and 22.
Exactly, it's that fine tuning, because a lot of people can get within 30 feet of a basket. You know how many people can put it in consistently from 30 feet?
A lot less.
Way less. Especially at the amateur level. So, like, if you're really good...
We know a lot of people that can just, you know, like a sniper from 4 miles away and just chuck it and be really impressive. Like, hey, that's good for you, but my boy Zero just scored 3 strokes ahead of you, so
Yeah.
you're not really that impressive after all.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. From
Exactly. Yeah, you got to put in that work in a short game. But,
yes, sure, you got it there in 1 stroke, Zero got it in 2, but he made his putt. You took 3 strokes to get it in.
Right.
He instantly wins the hole now, and now he's up on you on tempo.
Yeah. Anyway,
Keep
going, but
no. That was basically it. So we taught the class. It went really well.
Sweet.
Only a couple people showed up. It wasn't like a big class. It's just what the event day was called.
Okay, that's cool.
But it was really fun. People were asking me questions like, do you do all your basing over here and then your models and you glue them together later? And if so, how
that's cool.
The tips and tricks to get it so your model doesn't fall apart, and how do you get, like, for all my dwarves, it's all lava.
Yeah.
So like they were asking me, just little things. That was really cool. And then in a couple weeks we have another day coming up where we actually have like a demo day. But that was the art side. This is the game side.
Yeah.
And I have been asked. I'm the guy for AOS now, so I'm the demo guy. So if you come around, if you are in Grand Rapids, Michigan, for anybody that's listening, and you are interested, we have lots of games, not just AOS. You can come out and try Marvel Crisis Protocol. You can come out and try Star Wars Legion. You can come out and try Necromunda, Kill Team. Come on, Justin, you got this. What else do they have?
40K.
They do. Well, yeah, definitely. They have 40K. Thank you. They have Underworlds. We also are going to have Warcry. We're also going to have Adeptus Titanicus, as well as A Song of Ice and Fire, I believe. Conquest.
Holy smokes.
Huge day. So yeah, all the games you can think of. Coming out, there also is a Lord of the Rings, I believe, as well. So all of these games, Song of Ice and Fire is obviously
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
there's a game for that too.
Damn. See, I like that though. You're growing the community, man. That's cool.
So I'm going to be doing the demo day for AOS. So if you come out, it'll be in a couple Saturdays from now. It'll be on the 8th of April. I believe it's like 10:30 in the morning. You can come out and come see me or anybody else at the game store at Far Harbor Gaming in Rogers Plaza. So go check that out.
Yeah. Excellent.
That's basically it. Host Hobbies, but that's basically what we've been up to. But
excellent.
So news-wise, we do have some stuff that kind of relates to hobby-ish.
Yeah.
And that's maybe a little bit of like rumor.
A little segue.
A little tiny bit of rumor.
Okay.
Because we're not sure yet.
Yeah.
But we did mention that, last time on the pod, we did talk about Regulation C and the ruins.
Yes.
We're not going to do a huge thing right now, but we do want to shout out for about 30 seconds, Zero.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can even find it, because I know exactly where you're going. Go ahead.
There's a rumor. This is not confirmed. We want to reiterate
we think this is a typo. This
could be a typo, and we don't know if this is official yet. But this is news and is worth talking about.
Yeah.
Zero, basically, Regulation C has been on Showdown for 2 weeks?
No, on Showdown, yes.
Showdown, it's been for about 2 weeks.
It doesn't go live until, if you're listening to this podcast, it'll be live
on the 1st,
tomorrow, so Saturday, because this will be out on the 31st.
Gotcha.
Regulation C goes live on the 1st.
And basically, on Showdown, and based on what they told us originally, and on Showdown, Regulation C was just Series 2, but then they added the 4 Ruins pokes. So still all the same pokes we had now, still all of the same Paradox Pokemon. You're just adding the 4 Ruin Pokemon, aka the Dark Tapus, right?
Yep.
But then Zero, I think you have this on screen for the YouTube viewers.
Yep. Let me put it on screen for you right now. Okay. Mic check. Still good.
And then for the podcast viewers, Zero, what do we have going on here? So this is rumors. This is leaks. This is not confirmed.
This is on. I think this is on Pokemon's official website, but we think this is a typo.
Potentially. So tell us what it is.
It says Paradox Pokemon are not permitted. So Paradox Pokemon are not permitted for play. So Doug, PMC Sport Ninja
found this.
He found this. He brought it to our attention. He said that he thinks that it's a typo.
Which we agree. Everyone at the PMC, all 4 of us at the round table, we all think that this is a mistake, an accident, a typo, until we are proven otherwise. We thought female Indeedee with Trick Room was a typo or a mistake.
Yes.
And it turns out it was intentional. It's part of the world now. It's part of the game. That was a an intentional upgrade, a buff this season, this generation. Yep. So Regulation C without ruin Pokemon Brain. And so put on our tinfoil hats. Let's speculate real quick. We want to be very clear. This is not confirmed, but in the hypothetical that this does come out, Zero, what are your thoughts?
So here's my thoughts. Doug had some differing opinions, and that's fine because he's been playing a lot on Showdown.
Yeah, he's been playing the most Regulation C out of everyone in the council. So he and again, this is why we're saying this is because he's been playing Regulation C, and that's not how it's been played. There have been Paradox.
There have been Paradox. So I think personally, if this is true, this makes the Ruined Pokemon all that more powerful because...
Do you think this is a big deal? You think this is a game changer?
I do think it is a big deal because Paradox Pokemon, in my opinion, are the gap. They bridge that gap between Ruined Pokemon and regular Pokemon.
So you think Ruined Pokemon are better than Paradox?
Yes.
Or higher tier, even if only slightly in certain... Depending on... You think as a whole, this umbrella category are higher up. If those are S, then these are S+.
Yeah. I do. Yes. Okay. I truly do.
So just for the podcast listeners, what we're saying is that Zero's call is that he thinks Paradox Pokemon are great, or are good, and Paradox Pokemon are good, and Ruined Pokemon are great.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got this belief that, and I talked to you about this a little bit off camera. I believe that these Ruined Pokemon will be good in any format that they're in. So when we get to restricted formats with Ubers, you're still going to see these Pokemon because
Chi-Yu's going to do great.
These help your damage calculations.
Being able to have a Chi-Yu next to a whatchamacallit, Calyrex.
Yes.
And being able to shred the Spec D, or having a Chen-Pao next to Calyrex Ice, being able to shred armor.
Yes.
That is going to change so many calculations.
Dude, imagine.
It's not small. It's not small.
Imagine Choice Specs Transistor Regieleki next to Chi-Yu.
So you basically have +2 with the choice specs, and then they're -1.
So
there's a thing in Warhammer. So you know how we have, so they're called endless spells. I've told you about this before. If people don't know, this game is the fantasy version of Warhammer. There's Warhammer Age of Sigmar Fantasy and Warhammer 40k, which takes place in the year 40,000. Hence the name, and that's the space Star Wars version.
Yeah.
I play the fantasy one. So obviously instead of technology, our big thing is magic. So they have spells, magical things that actually have a model, and you move the model around and it does stuff.
Okay.
One of them is this glowing evil death magic skull thing with a bunch of purple. It's called the Purple Sun. It's this giant, Raven from Teen Titans. Imagine if she summoned this giant, Mewtwo Shadow Ball skull, and it traveled around with this, death aura eating people.
Yeah.
Basically, if it gets near you, you roll a dice, and then on a 1, auto slay that model.
Ooh.
Doesn't matter how tanky you are. Doesn't matter any of that. It just Shadow Realm.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but it also has an aura around it of armor shred. If you're within 6 inches of this purple sun, you get minus friendly or enemy, good or bad guys.
Okay, so similar thing here.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yep.
If you're within 6 inches of this purple sun model, you get -1 to your armor save. So normally I roll my attacks at you, and you'd be like, oh, I got a 4 up. So I roll a dice on a 1, 2, and 3. I take the damage. But on a 4, 5, or 6, pink. So 50% chance.
Yeah.
Well, now it's on a 5 up. That changes that math a lot.
Right. Exactly.
That's a big swing in math there.
Exactly.
When you start to actually think about the law of large averages in rolling dice. So same type of thing. I say all that to say in Warhammer, and I use that Purple Sun in my army because that ticking that armor shred is such a huge valuable tool. So being able to have that as just a passive, and it doesn't proc things like Defiant.
Yes, exactly.
Or mirror herb type shenanigans.
You're just swinging the math in your favor.
It's very, very powerful because it's not a trigger. It's just a passive thing. It just exists.
Yep.
I'm on the field, which means your stats are just lower than what they are.
Yep.
But there's no trigger there. So there's just so many levels as to why they're good.
I agree with you. Like I said, this is these Pokemon are gonna leak into the restricted formats. Like,
yeah.
Oh, my Mewtwo's coming up just short of the KO on Zacian.
Not anymore with Chi-Yu, you know.
Not anymore with Chi-Yu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you, it's I
as
really
as
think,
a random example, yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally random. But I really think it's significant. So like we said, we don't know if it's real or not.
If you rub the magic lamp, what's your wish as to how this rule gets ruled?
Keep the Paradox Pokemon.
Just keep it how it is now. You're just you're not taking anything away. You're just adding the 4 Ruin Pokes.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree. I think
agree.
that's the best way to go about it because these Pokemon are going to be centralizing already. The Ruin Pokemon and
polarizing. Yeah.
Without Paradox Pokemon, it's like these Pokemon.
Maybe the Paradox or the check and balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because these will define teams. Yeah.
But it's pretty crazy. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Yep.
We will keep you posted.
Yeah, absolutely.
If and when the news drops, we will probably have some sort of a not your standard scheduled programming kind of.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll probably put out like a special news vid and or extracurricular here on Spotify. So stay tuned to that. But that's the Regulation C potential news spoiler rumor.
Yep.
Very interesting. And we'll see what comes of that. But other than that, we actually do have a couple things that we wanted to plug.
Yep.
There is, in terms of like the Pokemon news, I guess, we'll do the plugs in a minute. There is a new raid coming out.
Yes.
Oh, look at him. Let's go.
Go, dude.
Who's your favorite Unova starter?
Samurott.
And who's the new raid coming out?
Samurott.
So this is not... Jokes aside, this is not Hisuian Samurott. This is Univin Samurott, so just pure water type, not the dark type, not the stat difference, no ceaseless add, sharpness.
Bugterra.
But it is Bugterra, which I don't want to dive too deep into it because it's going to spoil a project that's already in the works.
Yeah.
But Bugterra Samurott sounds really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage all of my Pokemon Masters, especially anyone that might lean more towards a Spike psychographic profile, to take another look at that particular typing coming into Regulation C.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say.
That is all.
But yeah,
let's get the dates on that. Let's get the dates on that. I want to make
the Samurott raid.
Yeah. I'll get the dates for you.
So, yeah, and we will, I don't know if we'll have a link in the description, but you guys can go check out. We will have the, Austin John Plays, as usual. Yeah. Big fan of his. He always comes out with a guide.
Usually a guide, yeah.
Is that what we call it? A guide or a cheat code kind of video?
Yeah. He's always got a guide of how to handle
and they're usually pretty consistent, right? Like his methods are usually.
His last one wasn't. Okay. I don't think was amazing, but
he's got a decent track record. Yes. Not perfect, but decent.
So, yeah, let's pull this bad boy up.
So, big shout out.
March 31st to April 2nd, and then it will be returning.
So, it's this weekend.
Yep. So, and then it'll be returning next weekend as well.
So, by the time you're hearing this, it'll be this weekend, and then the next weekend when I talked about, my demo day, that weekend also.
Yep. I gotta say, and
super exciting.
I said, we won't talk too much about it, but, this is exciting. There's never a reason to ever run, in my opinion, there's no reason to ever run regular Samurott
once Hisuian
over Hisuian.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Smogon formats and you only have so you're playing untiered or PU because that's where this is going to land. That's the only time you use this Pokemon.
Because even in a monotype, you can still run Hisuian. He's still
I think
water.
Hisuian Samurott's going to land in RU or NU, in my opinion.
In VGC, I think Hisuian's going to be baller status.
That would be amazing.
Because he gets, we'll talk about that later, but sharpness with Aqua Cut, I think there's a lot of potential there.
And this is probably going to be hidden ability as well.
And
all the rest of them have been.
Which is battle armor. Correct? Yeah. So no crits.
Yeah, which
isn't bad, because there are actually a decent-ish number of crit tech in the meta because of things like Dondozo or Garganacl. So crits are not relevant. They're not completely irrelevant.
Right.
So I don't think that battle armor is obviously sharpness is
it's not so much better. Yeah.
you're comparing you're literally comparing you know what I mean,
apples to Fruit Loops or something.
Apples to needles here. We're not even in the same category. It's not even fruit. Yeah. So, but it is really cool.
Yep.
You're gonna be getting that Samurott. Super awesome. So that makes me excited and happy.
Yeah.
Because that's one step closer to home. I think it's around the corner, bro. You can call me crazy, People fan of the channel know your boy, Gym Leader Justin, has been calling for this. I think we're going to get home before regulation season's over. I think that home update's coming quick. Absolutely. And oh boy, am I hyped for that. Let's go.
This summer is going to be the hypest.
It's going to be so
This
awesome.
is going to be the hypest that Gen 9 gets this summer.
Yeah.
My opinion. Once home opens up, this is going to be the prime.
It's going to be awesome.
Format.
So other Pokemon news. Unite has actually had a couple of things that were been kind of fun. We're not huge into Unite right now. It was sort of a pillar of the channel over lockdown-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Lockdown/chemo.
Yeah.
Unite was a huge way for us to connect and bond and play something together where it wasn't versus each other.
Yeah.
And then we talked about on the channel, the community had some issues, patching had some issues.
Paywall.
The paywall was a big issue.
For new characters. That was like the final straw, I think.
And then the bots, the bot games.
Bot games
for me was the final straw.
The waste of time.
So there's just some issues with it, but overall, if you just look at the core loop, the core game loop of the Unite itself, it's a fun system. And if you want to take one of your favorite Pokemon of all time, if they happen to make the roster, and feel what it feels like to play that Pokemon in like a 3D environment where it's not just a turn-based, I'm playing Ash, not actually Pikachu. This one lets you play as Pikachu.
Yes.
And for that, I'll still say it holds up.
Yeah.
Unite still holds up.
Yep.
So 2 new characters have been released. So there's been a few. Comfy, really cool.
Yep.
It's very much like the cat from League of Legends.
Yep.
On the spell book, Urshifu came in. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
But then they also just came out with Gudra and Zacian are now in the game.
You've played both.
We played both.
Yeah.
We did the Zacian thing.
Yep.
Where like they give you like a three-day temporary thing.
Yep.
So we tried them out.
Yep.
Super fun. Pretty cracked. Squishy, but cracked.
Yep.
And then like very broken. And then Gudra. Wow, is she thick.
So thick, dude.
Gudra's the closest thing to a top 10 for me that they've gotten so far. They haven't actually dipped into any of my top 10 favorite pokes yet in the roster, so I'm still kind of personally sad about that.
It'll happen. But like, isn't Gudra like the tankiest Pokemon in the game?
Currently, stat-wise, she's the tankiest Pokemon in the game. HP, defense, and Specty. Well, Specty, I think Blissey's technically, but you get my point.
Yes,
she's the tankiest Pokemon in the game, and then on top of that, she has Muddy Water. And Muddy Water in regular Game 0
lowers accuracy.
In this game, it lowers your damage output.
The opponent's damage output.
Hit, yeah. So,
okay, wow, yeah.
So it's a tiny little AoE around Gudra, but it's a full 360. So you just hit the button, you get hit with the splash, it does damage. With Muddy Water, it's like a brown color, little splash wave, 360 around her. And it stacks. I think it's up to 4 or 5 times. So like in game, I was telling you, I was like, hey, Brandon, 1 stack, 2 stack, and then you all of a sudden you're at Caesar like, oh, this
because I was playing Sustained Lifesteal Caesar.
So he would see somebody like get 2 or 3 stacks and then instantly stop and like 180-degree turn and go target that to be like, I can win this duel now because now you have 3 stacks of Muddy Water. You have 3 damage reduction buffs on you.
Yeah.
Because they stack up to like 4 or 5 times. Yep. So it's AoE. So she goes in there, big fat tanky in the way, and then shuts down everyone's output. So your team just wins the trade.
Yeah.
You're just now thicker by proxy.
Yep.
So it's a different type of... people know, obviously, I should have started with this. I'm a tank main.
Yeah.
Over a decade of League of Legends, Diamond tier, jungler. My main role was jungling, and my main jungle role was either a tank jungler or bruiser junglers.
Yep.
So more thick. I like them thick.
Mm-hmm.
Blastoise was my main thing in Unite.
Yeah.
When we played.
Especially early in the game of life. So, yeah.
Gudra is a really fun tank. It's not the big get in there and CC and control the thing like Blastoise is, but it's almost like a bodyguard, like, hey, stick next to that thing.
Yep.
Because she'll enable the fight because she's just big and thick and she's got other
cool.
tricks.
It's like we haven't really like seen that in the game that much.
Yeah, for League of Legends purposes, feels like a little bit similar role to something like an Alistair or a Braum.
Okay.
Maybe Tarek, like a tanky support almost.
Yeah.
Very fun.
All right, so then we'll just plug a couple of this, right?
And you played
Zoroark.
And then obviously Sableye, got to try that. Super fun. Big Hoenn rep. Crap. You got to try Zoroark. So Zoroark, if it's not Samurott, then it's Zoroark. One of these two are fighting for your 11th spot in your top 10 favorites.
Yep.
Like, these guys barely missed the cut, right?
Yep.
Hisuian especially. But Zoroark, huge fan. Like, your son's room is all... Like, it's named after your son, Miles, who loves foxes. Team. Like,
I used the Zoroark team to get into Master Ball and climb to, like, 14-2 or something.
Which is amazing.
I got ranked inside the top 2,000 in the world. 2,000
in the world, which then you get to see us live. Go check that out in the Roaring Moon video.
Yep, that one's out. Roaring Moon. Hold on, I'm going to reposition here because oh, man. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Yeah. So,
but Zoroark, you're a huge fan of Zoroark. Yeah. And you got to try him in Unite. And, bro... we hadn't played Unite in like 6 months, right? And we picked it up, and I'm sitting there. Oh, your boy was popping off on fire. Let me tell you, because normally, what happens in Unite when somebody picks up a character for the first time? What's the meme?
They're terrible.
But what's the usual meme in our group?
In our group, you always get MVP.
I pick up a character for the first time, never played him before,
and it never fails either. He gets MVP every time. Every time. Just messing around.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. God he didn't make me tall, but he made me good at MOBAs. So that's what I got. But you were popping off like that on Zoroark. You were doing that.
I got like 106K or something like that in like my third game or something.
It was insane, dude.
It was crazy. Dude.
He had one game where he did over 123K, and he was just like, bro, I haven't played this game in like 6 months. And we were just in casual, just like messing around. Like, oh yeah, he's
nuts. He's nuts.
Let's play it because we got like an hour to kill. It was one of those nights.
Yep. It was look, Zoroark.
So
insane.
Some super fun stuff if you're looking for something casual. Pokemon, it's still Pokemon related, but a little bit adjacent to the regular. We definitely recommend go trying some of that stuff out. It looks like they are doing some stuff to try to give us some free promo type things to try characters before you can buy them.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of free licenses and stuff.
So they're doing a little bit around the paywall issue. So it looks like they're making some improvements. They also introduced a bunch of new emblems since we played. Like all the Johto people are out now. Yep, and they introduced a new color, which is gray for steel.
Yeah, which is overall defense increase, right?
It's
damage reduction.
It's damage reduction, but it's a very small amount. It looks like it's only going to be...
I think it's 8% once you've capped it at like 12 emblems.
Or at 8 emblems. So, but it's not a percent damage. It's flat damage. So
not very good.
It's very, very minuscule mid and late game. It's going to be only good early game. So for my personal assessment right now, I would say gray/silver, the steel type emblems are not worth investing in.
Until they make that a percentage.
A percentage.
Not really.
It needs to be a percentage damage reduction, and even then it'd be, well, now you're running into, is it too powerful?
Yes,
so
8% would be a lot if they did percent.
It would need to be like 0.5%, 1%, 1.5%. It would need to be small numbers like that rather than like, you can't have 5% damage reduction. That's just mind-blowingly insane. So, a lot of fun stuff. Anything else for news, buddy?
Just one thing. We had a stream.
Oh, yeah, dude. Let's talk about the stream real quick. So let's plug that.
Yep.
That was on our YouTube specifically. So for people that are, listening on Spotify, you have to go check that out on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
People here on YouTube, you can go check that. Link will be in the description. We did a full stream. What was that, last Saturday?
Yeah. It was almost 2 hours. It's like an hour and 50 minutes or something like that.
Which again, we didn't have the full crew.
Yeah.
It was Mrs. Beer. We call it Mrs. Beer.
Yeah.
It's spelled like the German word for beer. So that's the
Mrs. Beer.
joke. Mrs. Beer had a birthday, so we were a little bit separate.
Mm-hmm. But we played
just the two of us. So we did some Smash doubles online.
Yeah. We did all right. I bet we came out like 50-50 there.
Yeah, it was super fun, though.
But we ended
fun.
it on a disgusting K-Rool spike.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome.
We hit that spike and we're like, all right.
Done. Cut it.
Let's move on.
And then we normally would have had like a little ranting and breaks and more people. So it was a little bit less than the 2 hour normal because of just... But then afterwards we did singles, right?
Yeah, we tried out my Haxorus team.
Yeah, the hacks.
But T-Tar stole the show.
T-Tar was really good. Like, T-Tar's always been a boss.
Terra Water, Assault Vest.
Yeah, Terra Water.
Mm-hmm.
That was
and it came in handy, remember? It's so good against rain teams, man.
Because, like, Terra flying has been the popular thing.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And so using the Terra Water was a lot of... But yeah, check that out. Deep dive all that. It was actually a lot of fun. That was our third or fourth attempt trying to get these streams. Yeah. So, like, again, if you've been paying attention to our stream stuff, you'll see that, like, the weather and stuff. We had the electricity went out one time. The internet went out another time. The internet went out on your birthday.
Yeah.
Blizzard stuff. But so let us know what you think specifically about that type of format for streams.
Yeah.
Because that's something that we're passionate about, is like integrating a little bit some of our like adjacent stuff and have some fun, and like it's almost like that warm up. So then when we come into the second half of the stream, now we're into the Pokemon part. Now we're into the try hard, actual competitive Pokemon, whether it be VGC or singles, or in the future when we do 6v6 versus, we'll have like homebrew roulette stuff. So go check that out. Leave some comments. We really, really appreciate it.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a little break. When we come back, we are going to go over Charlotte Regionals. We're going to talk about the finals, and then we're going to talk about the teams that made the top cut.
Joe UX9 and Justin Karras in the finals, baby.
All right, let's get it. Talk to you guys in a minute. All right, and we are back. We are here to talk about the Charlotte Regionals.
Charlotte.
So we'll recap a little bit of the action from the final match, and then we'll highlight some of our favorite teams.
What was that? South Carolina? North Carolina?
Charlotte, United States.
Might be Virginia? I think it's on the East Coast.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lord. Anyway, yeah, so the action was great. Let's talk about North Carolina. Just like I said.
I said North or South Carolina.
Just like I said.
And yes, those are in the United States. Technically, zero is correct. Hooray! So yeah, Charlotte, super fun. We did watch the final as though it was like, football Sunday. It was pretty fun to do.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up watching the LCS like a crackhead, so I really like watching this new esports. I like it.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like another sport.
Yeah.
Very fun. One of our channel favorites here. We're big fans of Joe UX9. Mm-hmm. He was actually in the final matchup against somebody who's, for me, I haven't heard of this person before, but Justin Karras.
They've been around for a bit.
I did some research afterwards, but at first I was like, who's this person? I was like, this buff-ass military-looking guy walking up there.
And we were watching it.
Looking all slick and clean. I'm like, well, this dude doesn't look like a pimply-faced nerd. What are you doing?
And we were watching it, and you saw this 6-year gap in his resume. And
yeah.
Like, he must have had a kid here or something.
Maybe he went to go have a child. Yeah.
So,
but a really fun matchup. We're going to cover the top 8. We're going to cover top 32 as usual. For people that have never seen one of our little tournament reviews, it's going to be more of the same.
Yeah.
If you are used to it. If you're not been here before for one of these, this is essentially what we do. We cover sort of the top, the podium. The top performers, and we also have a couple of favorites that we have been following throughout the whole season of Generation 9 so far, and we will continue to follow, and it's kind of fun to start at day 0 and watch their progression, one of which would be Chupa Cross and his Pawmont evolution team that we've covered multiple times on this channel. Spoiler alert today, he's not running the Pawmont anymore. So we'll get into all that, Zero. What's your 1,000-vote view? How did you think this one went? This is a pretty fun final match.
Yeah, I was gonna say first thing to kind of talk about was that the final match was really, really good.
Yeah, it was
just great to watch.
So it was best of 3.
Yeah, best of 3. It was super fun to watch. There's lots of back and forth. There's so much back and forth.
It was very engaging. It was very exciting. Like I said, we could have we were eating pizza. We could have had a beer and had some little hot dog weenies and chips and dip. It felt like not necessarily Super Bowl Sunday, but like a football Sunday.
Yeah.
Type of event. So very, very fun.
And it was so cool to see a final match that was actually it was entertaining. It wasn't one-sided. The players definitely were really good.
Rosemary was commentating, so big shout out. Chef's kiss every time you see her on the screen, you know it's a good day.
But yeah, so the matches were very close.
Justin versus Joe.
A lot of Terra flying was the wave. And so that was kind of the theme.
I guess you want to just jump right to it. Justin won. Joe came in second.
Yep.
So big shout out. Very fun match. Zero.
Oh no.
What happened?
So,
Game 1,
super close. Joe ends up winning.
Game 1 was the one that I think it was the least close in Joe's favor. Joe kind of stomped game 1.
Yeah, Joe did a really And
he did a really good job game 1.
Yeah, he put the hurting down. And then game 2, Joe started way ahead of Justin, but then Justin
he clawed his way back, expertly executed
the last 4 turns,
he was
perfect.
He threw a willow here. He was throwing brave birds here. He was going for protects. He was going for EQs. He was ducking, diving, and dodging. It was very, very nice.
He was giving a sucker punching King Gambit a hard time. A really hard time.
And then game 3.
So this is
the game we play.
This is where things hit the fan. So
we play a game with percentage chances.
Mm-hmm.
We play a game with hacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of game 0.
Mm-hmm. And
what's my feelings about Hydro Pump on Iron Bundle?
It's a game-losing move.
It's risky.
And it sucks there's no middle ground.
There's no middle ground.
The next best thing
is chilling water. You go chilling water or you go pump.
There's no surf, there's no muddy water. So, turn 1.
No one, yeah.
Turn 1, we get a protect from the Iron Bundle on Joe's side. Actually, he double protects. He double protects turn 1.
And then it locks the Flutter Mane into whatever move he's going to be locked into, which ended up being Dazzling Gleam. And he had Bundle and then Disguise Mimikyu, so it was like, all right, I maybe have a little bit of protection. I'm not sure if his Bundle was Sash, but he had a decent little bit of protection for his lead.
But he had the T-Tar. There was the T-Tar on Justin's side.
Yeah, but the T-Tar was on Justin's side, so Sand's starting to chip.
So breaks the Sash after turn 1, right?
If there is one. I don't remember.
I don't
remember
either.
But correct. It breaks that Sash. And then Homeboy clicked the pump.
Turn 2, Joe clicks pump on the
pump does what pump does.
And the Flutter Mane had taken half its HP from Terra, Ghost, Shadow Sneak. So this Flutter Mane was ripe for the picking, right?
Yep.
The Flutter Mane, if you connect that Hydro Pump, take the KO.
Yeah, the top of turn 2, he went Ghost Terra, Shadow Snuck, and did 55-60 to the...
Yep.
And then...
And Bundle's faster.
And then Bundle went for the pump and shit the bed. He just missed. He missed, like Pump always does. So
yep.
Hydro Miss came in.
And then Flutter Mane gets the Dazzling Gleam and gets a crit.
And it mattered. And it mattered.
All in the end. And... So
Bundle literally died for nothing. He accomplished 0.
He got no damage from the Bundle. So the Bundle protected turn 1,
yep,
and then missed its move and then got crit. So he got nothing out of the Bundle in the final turn. Or the final game.
There was a midway through the game, he made a questionable play in where he swapped in his king, took some damage, and he wasn't set up, and then he just ate a burn for free.
Yeah, from the Talonflame.
Because he knew he was going to get outpaced, and there was no way to do it. He ate the burn. The Sucker Punch didn't kill.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he never got the Sucker Punch off. He tried to Sucker Punch the Talonflame.
Yeah, protected.
And then he got crit by an Earthquake.
No, Rock Slide, because he went Terra Flying with his king, and it was the Rock Slide, remember?
Either way.
The T-Tar came in and hit him with a stab Rock Slide and crit him.
So either I don't remember if it was I don't remember.
Or it might have been the EQ a different time. But anyways, yeah, he got...
Yeah, because
and he basically
got KO'd by something.
That's what it was.
He got KO'd by King Gambit.
That's what it was.
But then the King Gambit got burned after that.
And then taken out. And then crit one shot, or basically one shot. So just, again... It was 14 dominoes in a row against Joe. There's nothing... You could see him on camera. He threw up his hands there's nothing I can do here, bro.
Yeah.
So, that's the game we play. Yeah. But let's look at some of these fun teams, because there was some sick squad 0.
Absolutely. 1 second here. Let's switch over. All right. So, top 8. We kind of already talked about these teams. We'll just kind of...
we'll start with the leader, right? Here, So, we have for people listening to the podcast, we have an Iron Tusk with Life Orb.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Gothitelle with Citrus Berry. Mm-hmm. The Iron Bundle with the Booster Energy. So,
Speed.
Speed. This is on Justin's side. The Flutter Mane with Choice Specs, which we've actually been seeing a lot in this tournament.
Now, yeah.
T-Tar with Terra Flying and the AV.
Awesome.
Talonflame, Terra Ghost with the old safety goggles.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really fun squad. And then what did Joe run?
And then Joe was running this really, really nice team. I really like Joe's team. We've got the King Gambit here. Also Terra Flying.
With AV?
With Terra Blast. Helps handle Great Tusk, like opposing Great Tusk.
Yep.
Terra Water, Amoonguss, Pollen Puff. It's just kind of the standard stuff.
Citrus Berry.
Terra Water Arcanine with safety goggles helps handle the Amoonguss.
Love Terra Water Arcanine. That's like, if you're looking for a middle ground, Jake, that's like the way to go.
And then we got this kind of like new wave Mimikyu with Curse. We've been seeing a lot of this.
Yeah. We already talked about the Terra Ghost for the Shadow Snakes. He does also have Life Orb.
Yep.
And then he has Curse Protects. Pretty interesting.
Yep.
So he does still have the Protect.
Yep. And stock standard Iron Bundle here.
With the drive. But Terra Ghost.
Terra Ghost.
No fake outs?
No fake outs. Get your Icy Winds off.
Yep.
And then Great Tusk with a Focus Sash and Protect. Love this.
And then Terra Ground, which we've been seeing for that double dip.
Yep. So really, really like Joe's team.
Yeah, I do. Out of the two, if you were to run one, which one would you run? Just personal preference.
For me, I like Joe's on paper.
Me too.
I see like I don't see a weakness on Joe's team.
I like the Jake. That Terra Water Jake with Willow. He doesn't have the Snarl, but he does have the Willow, so it's like he's probably special defensive. It's just, that's a solid
But there's
team.
there's just this
very fun.
It's just so good. Like this is so much good Series 2 goodness.
Yeah.
It's goodness. This is
very
just
very
so
fun.
Yeah, I really like Joe's team. It's unfortunate Series 2 is over. I'm betting he would love to take this team for another spin because it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun stuff here in the top 8. So one thing I want to point out, noteworthy here, Zero. There's a lot of kings.
There's a lot of kings. Yep. So we got
and there's a certain move we've been seeing popping up on a lot of teams to deal with king.
Yes.
This is something I think is worthwhile talking about on the podcast. Worthwhile talking about for the viewers of the council, as it were.
We'll see it right here. Yep. There she be.
So
Low kick.
this Harpooya, this Dragonite has low kick.
Yeah.
Why is this important, Zero?
So low kick. It's a fighting type move.
There's only 2 moves in the game that work this way.
Yep, based completely on your opponent's weight. Obviously, your own damage factors in, but
your own attack or special attack stat, whether it's grass knot or low kick.
Yep.
Grass being grass and special, low kick being fighting and physical.
Yep.
The base power is determined on your opponent's weight. It doesn't matter what your weight is. You could be the lightest or the heaviest. Doesn't matter. It's all based on their weight. And we never saw this back in Gen 8.
Right, because there was no weight-based moves that could affect Dynamax.
Correct. So heavy slam, grass knot, low kick, none of this. Why is low kick important, Zero?
Because King Gambit is a little bit of a fatty.
As you can see here, he is in that second to last bracket, the 100 base power, because he is 264 pounds, 120 kilograms. Which means that it's a base 100 low kick, and he is fighting in steel 0, which means that's times 4 base 100. That's EQ power.
So it's a really easy pickup if they decide to tear something besides their King Gambit, and you still have a low kick.
We've seen people tech this on special attackers, like Espathra, in this tournament, because you at times 4 super effective base 100. You don't need a lot of attack stat or even a beneficial attack nature, to pop it off. So, just something we want to shout out. If you do see a lot of low kick, that is why you're seeing the tech. That and grass knot are because there's things like heavy slam, where it calculates the difference, and it's a percentage difference based on how much heavier you are than your target. Same thing with gyro ball, how much slower you are than your target, or electro ball faster, etc. Grass knot and low kick do not care about the difference. It's only your target's weight that matters. So the heavier they are, the more damage they do. And because there's such a more drastic scale, when that flat numbers you see, they're base 100, and he's only 200. He's not even 300 pounds. 300 pounds is not like super fat in the Pokemon world. It's big.
Yeah.
But he's not like Snorlax is well over 1,000. Do you know what I mean? So he's not even 300, and he's already at the second to last bracket. So low kick, there's not a lot of investment in order for it to pay dividends.
Especially against King Gambit.
Especially against King Gambit. But it also works against other things in the meta, Zero. I think Hands is pretty thick. Moon is decently thick, and it's super effective. Not to mention there's Dondozo, who often tears into steel to avoid the clear smog. So now you're hitting him super fat with a fighting type move at base 120, if I'm not mistaken, against his weight. Great Tusk is decently fat.
And the thing with with Moon is it's physical defense is so bad, you're always going to 2-hit KO it.
Correct.
You know?
T-Tar's thick and times
T-Tar,
4 weak.
Exactly. Yeah, T-Tar's a great one.
Not to mention he
heavy.
goes Terra flying a lot, but still it will put it, so there's a lot of pressure you can put it with low kick.
Yeah.
Garganackle?
We kind of like pretend that Terras don't exist when we like.
Obviously, Terras will always have to be, but on paper, there's a lot of utility for low kick.
Exactly. Yeah, there is. So
Zero, you ready to talk about some of these fun, exciting squads here?
yeah, let's start moving down. We'll talk about our first one. We got Chupa Cross here to 11,
out of these
right?
top 32, baby.
Yeah.
Number 11, Chupa Cross. If you've been paying attention to our Generation 9 tournament reviews so far this season, you know that we've covered Chupa Cross a lot. He was running the Pawmot build with the Revival Blessing and Focus Sash, Fake Out.
Yep.
Super good tech, right? We call it like the Chupa build or the Zero build because it's like your favorite dude, right?
Yep.
This is a lot different, Zero.
Yeah, so he's dropped a few Pokemon.
He's cut half the squad. So he used to have a Goldango, he's run Glamora before.
Yep, he had Pawmot.
He had Pawmot, and then he also had a Talonflame the last time we saw him, which is at Oceania.
Yeah.
And he dropped 3 of those. So he has run earlier in like Series 2 tournaments.
Yep.
He was running Glamora for 1 or 2 of those. So he has run that before. He's back on the AV with the grass.
Yep.
So that's normal. And he is running Lumberry Donnie.
That's
with Terra Grass. Zero. What do you think? And look at this build as well. He's got Resto Lum.
Yeah, that's a really good set because
it can protect against burns.
Yep.
Enemy sleeps like yawns are popular, as well as his own rest.
Yeah, and then he does not have order up. That is interesting.
Yeah, no order up.
Wow. And I remember he had order up before, so it's
correct.
Really
so he has been, even with the same roster, he's still
changing it up.
Changing it up, and now he's running the Terra Water Flutter Mane.
Yeah.
No Terra Blast.
See, now this is what we're like. What I was talking about before. Like water is always a great mid ground.
Always
for like anything. You're like, I don't know what to do. Terra Water.
What do you think that booster energy's for? Special attack or speed?
Probably speed, so you can like substitute through things. You know what I mean? Like
Moonblast, Shadow Ball, Sub Protect. Very nice set.
Yeah, great set.
And then what do you think about that, Jake?
Standard stuff. No
I
Terra
like
Water.
it.
Interesting, but
see what I mean? It's that standard Terra, or standard Jake. It's a really solid squad. And then we have that going back to the classic Series 1 Harpooya. Choice Banded. He does have the Terra Blast, but he's going the Choice Banded. But this one's not the normal Extreme Speed. This is Flying Terra Blast.
Yeah, you can thank Great Tusk for this meta. This is why we're seeing all these
the Terra Blast because he's part fighting, so you want to slash him, and especially because he's a physical tank.
You can shed you can go multi-scale or inner focus, and you can shed some of that ×4 weakness to his Ice Spinner if you just go Terra Flying.
Terra Flying, yeah.
Dragonite's a thick boy.
So with multi-scale, you'll be able to live one.
Yeah.
Really good.
All right, let's move on. So we got James Beck. Let's scroll down.
Oh, yeah.
James Beck in 14th place. We got
Wolf Glick in 13th.
So let's talk about James first.
So this is a very interesting Jake. So not only does he is packing the Snarl, no E-Speed. So he's got Flare Blitz, Snarl, Willow, Protect, no E-Speed. He still has safety goggles, but 0. It's a bit different there.
Terra Flying.
I'm assuming this is for all of the, not only on his own team, but we've seen a lot of Tusk in the meta. You just mentioned him with EQ.
Yeah.
And then obviously on this squad, he has EQ Garchomp. So Terra Flying Arcanine, very interesting.
I like it. It's probably like EV'd. It probably underspeeds most Great Tusk, so that's probably why he's got the Terra Flying, to make sure that he lives like a Headlong Rush or just completely avoids it.
Yeah.
And then get the Will-O-Wisp off, help the team out around him. So like you could protect with one of
Protect
these Pokemon.
Willow, free turn.
Yes, exactly. And then you got the, whatever.
Again, so big shout out, PMC shout out here. We have been loving, we're not a big fan of the Choice Specs necessarily right now in the meta.
But it's the meta right now.
But everybody's been running it. But that double dip Terra Fairy Flutter Mane with both Zero and Gym Leader Justin's fairy moves of choice, running that doubles. They got that Moonblast for the single target, that Dazzling Gleam for the spread option. Best of both worlds. We are running again. Now, we ran it with Haxorus. But we've been running that Terrifier on these pseudo-legendary dragons, and now we got Terrifier Garchomp.
Yep.
Big damage there. If you keep scrolling down, good sir, you'll see another PMC shout-out. That Double Dick Tark Terra King Gambit with the AV.
Yep.
You go check and with and it even as we said low sweep or low kick, it even has his own counter on that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yep.
And it's that double dip for this super strong double dip dark sucker punches.
Yep.
Say that 3 times fast. But then, bro, another PMC shout out. If it wasn't also, you ran the Fire Haxorus. We've run a couple different Garchomps and stuff, but another thing we ran both on the Haxorus and on my Garchomp was that Lumberry, and now we see D-Knight with Lumberry.
Yep. It's really strong in your setup Pokemon, man.
Protect, E-Speed, Low Kick, and then Terra Blast, Terra Flying. So no Dragon move here.
Yep.
I think that's a very interesting Harpooya set, but I wanted to... You're the Dragonite stan. I wanted to know what you thought about that, because that was one of the most unique sets I saw this whole tournament.
Yeah, I really don't think Dragon coverage is good or necessary right now. He's got it on the Dragon Claw with the Garchomp, but I think that's literally just a damage thing. Like, okay, if it's neutral, then I'm gonna go for Dragon Claw. I don't think you run Dragon for coverage anymore.
I think he's there for coverage on this squad because he already has 2 fairy moves and a dragon move. He doesn't need it for this squad particularly. I would agree 100%.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Wolf Glick's team. One of the cooler teams actually in this.
Did he
this
make
tournament.
a complete turnaround in my eyes from last time he podiumed with the Parish Trap crap? But now he's got the AV Terra Grass, which is what we repped.
Yep.
Go check our video. You timestamped that.
Yep.
It's exactly what we were repping for that Cerulege, bro.
Yeah. He's got the Terra Grass, which is obviously a really strong Terra for fires. Bitterblade, Shadow Sneak, Close Combat, and Terra Blast. We saw a Cerulege in top 32 with Clear Smog.
Yep.
Which
very,
was
very strong.
And Terra Blast, so it's like the Dondozo
He's
killer.
a Dondozo killer, so he can kill you if you're grass. He can kill you with grass, fire. He can take away your stuff. If you you go Terra Steel, then Bitterblade just kills you.
Yeah.
So Tinkaton looking great here with the
cool.
faint Thunderwave fake out Gigaton Hammer and a Citrus Berry. So Mold Breaker Gigaton Hammer, that is for the Mimikyu, which we've actually been seeing a lot of at this tournament specifically.
I believe Tink is also 1 speed
higher,
naturally faster than Mimikyu.
Yep.
So
then we have like we talked about,
Kevin.
This is Wolf Glick's team, the Kevin Hart,
Yep.
the Espathra with Focus Sash, Speed Boost, Terra Ghost for those fake outs, Lumina Crash, which we really like, but that low kick tech doesn't care about that physical attack stat, doesn't care about the investment. It's enough.
Yeah.
Kevin can just kick a king right in the face. He'll kick you right in the nits. But
super good.
this Flutter Mane.
All right.
This Flutter Mane is, if the other Flutter Mane wasn't the perfect Flutter Mane, with the substitute, Moonblast, Protect, Shadow Ball, and Booster Energy,
Yep.
then this is the 0 special Flutter Mane.
Yes.
This is Terra Steel, Protect, Moonblast, Shadow Ball, substitute with lefties.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you build this? Because it looks like you built this.
I'm going to imagine that he has some defensive investment in this. I really like
100%.
this Flutter Mane.
100% he's got to.
I'm gonna find out for sure. But yeah, anyway, super strong. Let's keep going.
And then past the Flutter Mane, we have one that we've ran before, which is actually the Sandy Shocks with Gravity. That's why you see the Hypnosis Tech option on the Kevin, the Espathra. I don't think Glick would run that willy-nilly. And then we've got down the team, we see that he has Gravity. Like, oh yeah, see, that makes a lot more sense, right?
Yeah.
And then he also taken in that Spork Ninja's been running this for his Regulation C team practicing, but the Intimidate Gyarados, a little bit different than what Dougie's been running. This is actually, again, Lumberry coming in hot.
Yep.
But Dragon Dance, Waterfall, Protect, and Terra Flying, Stab, Double Dip, Terra Blast, doing that Dragon Knight.
We're seeing a lot of that because you can't really reliably use Fly right now. So
well, and he's so strong, and being able to use Terra Blast is already the preferable option, like you said, because otherwise you'd be running Fly. But it's so good in the meta to be able to deal with things like Tusk, like Hands. I know it's neutral, but like whatchamacallit, there's so many grass Terras.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Flying is secret, like it was in last gen.
This thing is not afraid of Ceruledge.
No.
No matter what they Terra into. This thing always beats Ceruledge.
And again, even in going into next gen, he's not afraid of... that exact set does not give any Fs about Chi-Yu.
Exactly.
That is a Chi-Yu killer.
Yeah.
Fish to fish, this one wins. There's what did Qui-Gon say? There's always a bigger fish.
Exactly.
Like that Gyarados set murders Chi-Yu, especially the ones that we've been running, which have been going Terra Grass.
Yeah.
For triple stab. Yep. So, and regardless, obviously, normally he's fire, sun, water, obviously. But, so there are so many cool options here. But we digress. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
We have some really fun stuff here.
One more team here before we let you guys go. We got
Mega Dobby.
Yeah.
And this is your set.
This is 31st place. I don't know how to say the name, so I'm just going to let y'all see.
Mel was the, in parentheses.
Yeah.
I
know how to say Mel.
Huang Jianxing? Jiangxing?
Better than what I could have said.
Huang Jiangcheng, Mel, but yeah, they're running the we say Mega Dobby, so Dobby from Harry Potter.
Here's the clear smog. But anyway, yeah,
and this is the clear smog also. So this is the Grimmsnarl.
Yep. So this Grimmsnarl, this is the same Grimmsnarl I ran
Literally.
all of Generation 8.
Go check our set guide.
Yeah.
Go check our set guide. This is the Generation 8 VGC Grimmsnarl. This was the set.
Yep. There's not much more I can say about this set other than I love it.
And then Terra Ghost, obviously, for the fake outs. So really cool.
Probably all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You asked like, oh man, is it worth it? But I mean, I think it is, especially like if you really got to get off,
yeah, you get
the freeze dry.
You get this tanky Ceruledge behind screens. It's gonna be a tough day.
Yeah. So then we got pretty standard. Well, actually, not really. It's got
one of the two variants.
Yeah, we've got the Iron Bundle with Encore.
Encore instead of the Icy Wind.
Yep. So
booster energy, probably speed.
So you protect on whatever their move is, and then Encore them into it if it's something advantageous for you. You can Encore someone into protect. And
correct.
Force them in.
Which is something I didn't know until this generation. You know, something I learned. But because again, Encore was not applicable to Dynamax. So that's another move we're seeing, and Endeavor as well. Spoiler alert. Which I think that video's out now on the channel. The Endeavor.
Yep.
So the Endeavor Tech and the Grumpig video. You know what I mean? Like. That stuff was not viable in 8th gen. We never... So that's really cool to see it. I'm just pointing it out.
VGC is so cool right now.
There's so much fun
because we've never played in a non-Dynamax VGC, and we're seeing so much cool tech. This is like...
it's very fun. Speaking of cool tech, this Brute Bonnet is...
This is your Brute Bonnet, dude.
Literally the PMC staple. That is the Brute Bonnet.
We use this
Fire
Brute Bonnet
with loaded dice and bullet seed, sucker punch over the crunch, depending on the meta and or team. Yeah. We talked about that. And then protect and the spore.
We've got this. This is on our
exact set.
Trick Room team.
Yep.
Link in the description. Also, there's a rental code if you want to use it.
And then that Ceruledge, bro. Gush.
Okay, this is
Gush
the one
for me about the Proto Man.
Yep. So this is the Dondozo Killer. We've got Flash Fire with Assault Vest. And then we got Bitter Blade, Shadow Sneak, Terra Blast with Terra Grass, and Clear Smog, dude.
Very fun tech.
Yeah.
Another Specs Double Dip Fairy Flutter.
Got Power Gem here now, and for all the Terra Flyings,
which we've seen either Power Gem or Thunderbolt coming in. No Mystical Fire for a long time. I think you had mentioned it's the power differential.
It's not worth it.
It's not strong enough.
It's only worth it against Scizor.
Yeah.
That's the only Pokemon that Mystical Fire is worth it against, to be perfectly honest.
Correct. Especially in this meta right now, there's no threats.
Right, yeah. Like, what is Mystical Fire, like...
It doesn't cover enough bases in the meta is what you're saying. It's too niche.
It's too niche.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, bro, this Corv. I know you've been on this train, so I'm going to give you the full mic here.
Yeah. Terra Dragon Corv with Mirror Armor, so you're, like, bouncing back those Intimidates.
So tell people... Why Terra Dragon? So yeah, Mirror Armor and then Terra Dragon. Go.
So Terra Dragon. With Terra Dragon, you resist the Thunderbolt and the Flamethrower or Fire Blast, whatever
Fire
the fire
Punch.
move is.
Yep.
You're never gonna just throw a fairy move into a Corviknight.
Yeah, that's not something that's common. You're never just gonna willy nilly.
Never gonna throw a Dragon move into a Corviknight. So. Yeah,
or ice.
You're never gonna just.
You might have an ice attack come up, but you'll see it coming as because it will be neutral because he's flying steel. So, there might be an ice type attack. Like, if you're up against a matchup where, you can see the Blizzard spam coming, but you can see that a mile away. But that's more niche.
You can still Terra in front of, a Hydro Pumping Iron Bundle.
Definitely.
And then Body Press them.
And then Body Press, and you just pick it up.
Yeah. So, that's kind of going to cover our last Series 2 tournament, man.
Yeah, super duper fun stuff. There's some really cool stuff in this Series 2. Series 2 is a lot of fun.
Yeah, Series 2 was kind of popping, bro.
I'm looking forward to Series 3, a.k.a. Reg C.
Yep.
Regulation C is going to look like a lot of fun. Again, for people that stayed all the way to the end, if you did hear that news section about, the rumors or whatever, we want to reiterate, it is just a rumor at this point. Nothing is confirmed, regardless of the source. Is Nintendo.com itself. It still could be a typo.
Yeah.
There's language barriers. If you don't know, Nintendo is not an English native. That's not their first language over there in Japan, where Nintendo's from. So it's one of those, I'll believe it when I see it, Zero.
Mm-hmm.
But stay tuned, because if that is news, PMC will be there as soon as we can to let you guys know. But until then, we've really enjoyed Series 2. We're looking forward to Series 3 Regulation C. Mm-hmm. If it's with the Paradox, I think it'll be a really good time and a lot of fun. If it's without the Paradox, I think it's going to be absolute gunslinger Wild West.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Like it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, it is.
So very, very fun. Stay tuned to that. If you stayed this long, we really appreciate it. Smash that like button. If you see that big red subscribe button, that means you're not subscribed. Hit the red subscribe button. Please. 80% of you that are watching our normal uploads are not subscribed. We want to change that while we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, while we do a special stream at the end, which you won't want to miss. Zero, is there anything else?
No, I think
nailed it. We're good, bro.
You did that YouTuber thing, man. All right, guys, we're gonna take off. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We hope you also enjoyed Series 2 as much as we did. Until next time, I've been Zero,
and I'm Gym Leader Justin.
Council's adjourned.